Namaste. It is necessary to remember that material success is not the answer to all your questions. Otherwise, every successful person would have found lasting happiness. But the reality is something else. Materially, you are successful, but still you are suffering. Why? Because suffering is always mental. Suffering is always on the mental level. So unless and until you work on your mind, unless and until you start going beyond the mind, there is no way to lasting happiness. And the way to go beyond mind is always through the inward journey. That is why the Bhagwan, that is Bhagwan Ramana Maharshi says that happiness, seeking happiness, finding happiness is very natural. There is nothing wrong in seeking happiness. What is wrong is that you are trying to find happiness on the outside when it is inside. And that is how every person tries to find happiness by the means of material gains. Money, luxury, cars, bungalows, everything. But still, in the end, he is not happy. There is no satisfaction. Contentment is missing. This is all because still your journey towards Ketu hasn't begun. And that is why in this podcast I have talked more about Ketu, because without Ketu you cannot come out of these four walls. Without Ketu you cannot find liberation. You cannot attain moksha. What is moksha? Moksha comes when you are beyond this mind. When there is no mind, you have attained the stage of moksha. So, how can moksha come to you when you are so much caught up in your mind? Interestingly, many people go to these nadi readers and they read their nadi and then they tell them that next birth you will attain moksha. Some people tell them that you will attain moksha this birth itself. How is that possible? Do you think moksha is such a easy thing to attain? You have to work on yourself. You have to start with your journey, the journey within. So in this small podcast, I have talked a little bit more about Ketu and also have shared a beautiful story. So let's begin.
Rahu shows that the desire has always been towards turning on, and these natives do well materially. They prosper, they earn good fame, good properties, but what about happiness? What about wisdom? What about peace of mind? What about experiencing the joy within? The answer to all these questions is only found when you stop turning on and start turning in. And that's Ketu. Rahu will always push you to turn on. Ketu will always encourage you to turn in. The whole story of human life is caught up between Rahu turning on and Ketu turning in. That is why the ancient seers have held Rahu and Ketu with high regards, because these two can either make or break your life. Reminds me of a beautiful story, the Buddha story. Once it happened, a very learned astrologer was walking on the river shore when he stumbled upon certain footprints of a man. The learned astrologer quickly realized that these footprints are not of an ordinary man. All his life, the astrologer had been reading many scriptures, and the scriptures mentioned about certain signs that exist in the feet of a man who rules the world, a Chakravarti, a ruler of all the 6 continents, of the whole earth. And the astrologer saw in the footprints all the symbols so clearly that he could not believe his eyes. Either all his scriptures were wrong and he was wasting his life in astrology. Otherwise, how was it possible on such a hot afternoon, in such a small dirty village, a Chakravarti, a ruler of the whole world, would come and walk barefoot on the burning hot sand? He became very curious. He started following the footprints, and soon he came near a huge banyan tree. And beneath that tree he could see Gautam Buddha, engrossed in deep meditation. The astrologer was taken aback. He was an intelligent being. He quickly recognized that the footprints were of Buddha. Stepping closer to Buddha, he bowed before the master and said, "I am sorry to disturb you, but I am surprised to see that your footprints clearly signify that you should be a Chakravarti, a world ruler. What are you doing here, sitting under this tree? Either all my astrology books are wrong, or I am hallucinating and you are not really there." Buddha said, "Your books are absolutely right, but there is something which belongs to no category, not even to the category of a Chakravarti. I am, but I am nobody in particular." The astrologer said, "You are puzzling me more. How can you be without being anybody in particular? You must be a god who has come to visit the earth. I can see it in your eyes." Buddha said, "I am not a god." The astrologer said, "Then you must be a Gandharva, a celestial musician." Buddha said, "No, I am not a Gandharva either." And the astrologer went on asking, "Then are you a king in disguise? Who are you? You can't be an animal, you can't be a tree, you can't be a rock. Who exactly are you?" And the answer that Buddha gave is of immense importance to understand. He said, "I am just a Buddha. I am just awareness and nothing else. I don't belong to any category. Every category is an identification, and I don't have any identity." How deep are the words of Buddha? He says, "I am just awareness and nothing else." Truly touching. It is said that this wonderful meeting with the Buddha transformed the astrologer inside out, and he dropped all his knowledge and became a monk. And it is said that when Buddha died, when Buddha left his body, he was the only one who cried the most. Awareness comes only through the doors of Ketu. Ketu is detachment, and unless you start living in detachment, there is absolutely no possibility of bringing awareness to your being. There is no possibility of experiencing the Buddha love, the Buddha happiness. Always remember, be grateful to all, those who have helped, to those who have hindered, to those who have been indifferent. Be grateful to all, because all together they are creating the context in which Buddhas are born, in which you can become a Buddha. A grateful heart is the most beautiful heart, and God comes, the Guru comes, seeking a man, seeking a woman who is grateful. A person who is not demanding but loving by nature. Love never demands, ego demands, but love never. Love is happy when it is able to give, to share, and ego is happy when it is able to take something. Understanding cannot be studied, nobody can teach it to you. You have to be a light unto yourself. You have to seek and search within your own being. You will have to learn how to dive within yourself, not in the scriptures, but within your own existence. You can always turn the tables around. You can always change your life. You can always raise the quality of your life. Everything is possible only when you start changing yourself. The Sufi saint Rumi says, "Yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today I am wise, so I am changing myself." Change yourself, and to change yourself, you have to let change happen within you. And you can let change happen within you only when you surrender, when you start living your life by surrendering yourself to the Almighty Lord, to the divine compassionate Master. Surrendering to a master is not really surrendering to a master. It is just taking the help of a master so that you can surrender to yourself. The master is just a mirror. He reflects you. Meditate every day and remember that the journey begins with desires, that is Rahu, but liberation, Moksha, is possible only when the journey progresses towards the state of desirelessness, which is Ketu. Love to all my listeners. Meditate.
Jai Sri Ganesha, Jai Guru. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha.